What's a good word, everyone? It's your boy DKB here. I just want to say thanks for all the support. The channel's been steadily growing, and the number you see below, you can drop a text, shoot a voicemail, any ideas, topics, collabs, etc. you guys want to see. I'll include them in future videos and live streams, and I'll catch you again. Be easy. What's a good word, Jets fans? It's your boy DKB here, and I want to talk about Brian Baldinger. Love a lot of the breakdowns that we get to see during the season where he's talking about some of the guys that should be highlighted or even those that didn't quite live up to expectations and kind of what he's seeing went wrong, whether it's a skill technique issue or situationally, right? Is it that we've already been blown out by halftime and you kind of see the body language, therefore impacting everything else, etc., etc. But I think most people trust the evaluations to a high degree that he puts out. So it's notable when you hear him hyping up Justin Fields and what he's seeing over the course of the couple days or so of OTA's practices that he's attending. So let's look at the comments here specifically. He's mentioned that he looks exceptionally fast. He was on the move quite a bit and threw well on the move. You saw him basically piercing the Jets defense routinely. I thought he threw the ball well on the run. He took all the #1 repetitions with the starting offense. They use him in a variety of ways, but running the ball, he stood out. Now, I'll break this down line by line here and kind of run through my thoughts, because while I'm excited for what he's hyping up, I think nobody questions Justin Fields' talent in terms of what he can produce as two different elements of being a dual threat quarterback, right? As a scrambler, meaning things are breaking down and there's literally no options, assuming he's looking downfield for him to dump things off to, or it's the design, or as a actual running design, playmaker. And you're talking about design plays or issues where, again, he's kind of scrambling, but then he also realizes it's an opportunity to attack and he's picking up huge chunk plays. Nobody questions all of that. You don't just pick up 1,000 yards on the ground because you happen to stumble across it, right? This is a guy that's lethal for that exact issue, and I think a huge proponent of what frustrated Aaron Glenn during the handful of battles that he got to face Justin Fields, and why he looks at him as a potential X factor, assuming they can improve upon his passing ability. But what we care about is the passing ability, right? There's plenty of you in the comments during every Justin Fields video where you're highlighting the fact that he can't throw for crap, or you're discrediting the Ohio State film, or even just the ability to do some of the basic principles, go through progressions or hit timing routes, or even just deliver a consistently catchable ball. So when I look at him mentioning that he's exceptionally fast, I think that's pretty straightforward. But when he talks about things like him throwing well on the move, I think that's a huge sign, right? If you have the mechanics to throw on the run, then you have the ability to improve, or the ability to be able to throw from the pocket as well, right? Throwing on the move is so much harder. You're talking about cross-body throws that can come into place. You're talking about the added stress of having to be aware of what's going on defensively, but also still keeping tabs of everybody playing this scramble drill situation where they're looking to get open for you. So throw the playbook or the design play out the window. You're now just playing backyard football, and it's very easy for fundamentals to break down, right? I'm not an NFL quarterback, and I don't even, generally evaluate a ton of these guys or even know the proper way to do it. But I would imagine there's no 100% proper technique for how you should throw the ball every time, right? It's going to depend. Are you attacking left? Are you attacking right? Are you hitting a deep ball? Is this a dump off situation? What's happening? You look at a lot of Patrick Mahomes highlights, and what makes him appealing to every team in the NFL is a lot of the stuff that most coaches would probably hate, right? The one-handed flicks and the underhand throws, and you're seeing him do behind the back stuff here and there and all that kind of silliness, right? But it's an ability that you love to see from Justin Fields, because there is a lot that you can do with the playbook in terms of being able to move the line of scrimmage, or even just move him as a quarterback, and how you allocate some of the weapons on the field and looks and all that kind of stuff to manipulate the defense. So that's a plus. But then you hear him say that he was piercing the Jets defense, and I have to assume he's talking about him being, again, as a runner and not just throwing darts through the middle of the defense, etc. I thought he threw the ball well on the run, which we covered. He took all the number 1 reps, which would also be expected since they anointed him starter early, and it doesn't look like Tyrod Taylor is eating into any of that experience time for him. They're using him in a variety of ways, which is intriguing, and I would assume that means that they're looking at him as a designed runner. They're looking at him being able to move left, move right. They're putting pre-snap motion into play to be able to help things out. They're using stacked alignments or bunch looks to also help. So again, mostly what this highlights to me is that we are getting what's advertised when it comes to Justin Fields as a weapon on the ground, or even if you just want to call it a weapon generically, because we've heard the highlights about how he's, flicking deep bombs left and right throughout OTAs as well. But also considering what this revamped secondary should look like, Sauce Gardner and whatever his new role may be with following Garrett Wilson, or maybe just keeping one side of the field locked down, Brandon Stevens and whatever he's offering, which at the very least is a big body with some press ability to be able to go down and speed, to be able to go down there and make things difficult from a timing perspective for what nobody considers to be a quality number 2 option for the Jets right now. So there's a lot of things kind of working against Justin Fields, still acclimating to the playbook, still understanding the timing, not necessarily having, again, when you look at probably the top 4 weapons right now, Garrett Wilson, Breece Hall, Braylon Allen, Mason Taylor. You're talking about most of those options essentially coming out of the backfield or in the short, quick passing game. So there's not that intermediate or deep threat that's not named Garrett Wilson that you can consistently say you can rely on right now. I don't want to put that pressure on Mason Taylor, although I am expecting a successful season out of him. So we'll see what happens. Again, maybe the intensity will ratchet up and he'll have, the break in between OTAs and when training camp actually kicks off to further get into this playbook, further get a little bit more confidence in what he's doing, what he's being asked to do. And then just as he builds the rapport and chemistry with the rest of his weapons, hopefully we see a different level of Justin Fields. But I do feel at least encouraged by the fact that Aaron Glenn and Tanner Ainstrain, they've been pretty consistent about this isn't just him as a runner. Otherwise, we just toss Braylon Allen and Isaiah Davis and Breece Hall back there and we'll be running Wildcat all day, right? This is about being able to make sure that people understand he's a quarterback that can also kill you with his legs as opposed to being a glorified running back that sometimes happens to throw the ball. And worst case scenario for the naysayers out there, the coaching staff, one of the biggest things I'm looking for is adaptability. You can't tell me there's not a world where you can't play winning football where 80% of your offense is on the ground. Tim Tebow took the league by storm. Colin Kaepernick was taking the league by storm. And these were guys that were running quite often. Lamar Jackson, early on in his career, running quite often. Kyler Murray, a guy that's known for running pretty consistently because he has to do a lot to escape pressure, and there's the size working against him, all that kind of stuff. There's guys that run a lot. I don't think it's going to be to the degree that we expect with Justin Fields in terms of how you drew it up. But we'll see how it all pans out. Let me know what you guys think, though. I'll catch you guys again. Peace.